Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Again, we have a video today without camera, guys, because I'm working on my teeth and, shortly I'm gonna have that done and you're gonna see my pretty / ugly face back again, hopefully in a couple of days. But the subject of today's video is gonna be something that I'm quite sure most of you are currently searching like really hard, and that is a way of dealing with the Demon Lord clan boss, but not only dealing with it, but what most people are looking right now is to be able to do this damage, right? The top chest of Ultra Nightmare clan boss, and do that with one key. The reason for that is we're gonna have, I think it's gonna be tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, we're gonna have the quick battle be introduced for the Demon Lord clan boss, and the only way you're gonna be able to access it, like if I go and do, you know what, let me just click it because it's fine. The only way you're gonna have the quick battle appear over here is if you have already done damage enough with your team that you've done over the one key requirement, which is 70.27 million. Okay, if you do not do that, this will not be unlocked for you. Also bear in mind, after you do that, you're kind of gonna have to keep the same team, otherwise you're not gonna be doing the same damage. Like if I do one key now and then I throw a random other team, it's only gonna do whatever that team thinks it would do normally, like I don't know, 2-3 million for example, if it's not a speed tune team. So the quick battle feature does not mean that we're gonna be able to straight up, do the one key once and then change all of our builds. No, the system will run a test to see, like, same builds, everything works just fine, and it's still gonna calculate the damage. But what I want to talk about today is my top 10, at least the ones that I found, top 10 teams that can do a one key Ultra Nightmare, all affinities, all difficulties, because that's what we are looking for in order to have access to that quick battle feature. And one thing I want to mention now, make sure to stick till the end, because if you're not going to be able to build any of the teams that I'm going to show you, that I have found at least, I'm going to show you a quick tip of how you could, or like a quick way of how you could find a team for yourself. Maybe you don't have all of the champions that I'm going to show, but you might have other ones, and this quick tip that I'm going to show you at the end might be the difference between you having a one key or not. So let's jump onto Deadwood Jedi's website, because this is the place to be. So I'm gonna show you the speed tunes that I have found and explain if there's anything they need to keep in mind. And if you're gonna try and do that, then come to Deadwood Jedi and you can just write in the search button any of the teams that I show you in order to find the speed tunes that you're looking for. So let's start with the one that I feel like maybe it might be a little bit of a relevant / fun one, because it involves champions that were past fusions, guaranteed and all that, and that's the one that I'm using myself right now, and that is the Myth Haircom. This was the team created, as shows here, by Sir Henry White, and it's a pretty amazing team using Reservoir, Demetha, Sticker and Brogni plus a DPS spot. This team is gonna run full auto. You're just gonna have to scroll down here, check the presets and see what you actually have to do. The only quick caveat is on Spirit, I think there's a little bit of a tweak where you will have to do some extra delays in here. So actually, this might not be the perfect example, because I think over here there was a way that I'm doing it on my main account on Spirit, on the free-to-play, sorry, on Spirit, that still keeps it a one key Ultra Nightmare. The way it shows it over here is that you have to delay the A2 2 turns, delay the A3 3 turns. So the way that what this one means is basically the fact that if you start it on manual, obviously you're not going to be able to do the one key full auto. So this might not work for you on Spirit, unless there's another way that you can tweak it with this one over here. So maybe if you go like this, boom, you delay this 2 turns, which means you might open with the A1, prioritize the A2, then do the A3, and the team should hopefully fall into sync later on. But I guess this was not a perfect example to start with, as it seems like on Spirit. I have not had enough practice with this team, guys, so I'm sorry that, I cannot give you the best tweaks for this one. So on Spirit, it seems like this one's not gonna work, so let's just move on to the next one, because that's, like I said, not a good example. The next one is going to be the Myth Seeker. Okay, so the Myth Seeker is another one of those ones that can be good, but you know what, at the same time, if you don't hit Spirit, if you can always hit Void, that team's just gonna run full auto. Just avoid waiting for Affinity, at least on Ultra Nightmare, because then on Nightmare the damage should be so much easier. So the next one is the Myth Seeker. That's another variation with Demetha that uses Haikatun and Seeker in order to do this, plus 2 DPS comps. But overall, what you have to do is, if you're trying to do this team, just come and always read the notes, guys, okay? That would always put some good notes in here just to show you and explain to you how to keep it affinity friendly, how to make it work and all that. But one thing you always want to keep in mind is, if you go over here on the speed tune and you see that you have delays here that you cannot do with the presets, that means those teams will not be able to be full auto. So if we look over here on this one can be full auto because you just have Demis open with the A1, Maker prioritize the A2, then the A3, then this team works. This team is gonna work, it's gonna be perfect for you to the 1 key. So that is the Myth Seeker. Then the next one is one of the most, another variation of the Demetha comps, and this was called the Myth Air Salad, okay? It uses Demetha, Ares, Mashalad, and Seeker. And this one's again same thing. If you go over here in the speed tune, you see that we only have 1 delay to do, nothing over here, 1 delay for Seeker, and then we have a DPS slot at the end, okay? So this one's again gonna be pretty easy. In this team, you're gonna want to bring somebody like a, I don't know, Anax, Vayne, whatever. Somebody brings you decreased defense, weaken, poisons, so you can get the 1 key damage. Always do keep in mind that these teams that I'm showing you have the 1 key capability, but it will always come down to your gear. If you don't have good enough gear, you might not be able to do that 1 key. So that's the Myth Air Salad. Then let's go to the basic one, and that is the simple Myth Air comp that, unfortunately, this one requires 4 champions, okay? It requires Demetha, Ares, Deacon, and Seeker, and then you have the DPS slot at the end. Again, this is a team that's affinity friendly, works on everything, but there's one caveat with this team. Again, make sure you do the presets right, but what you need to keep in mind in this team is, if you're facing Spirit Affinity, you need to have a Force DPS to take the stun. Ares cannot take the stun in this tune. Again, if you come over here and make sure to read the notes, everything is going to be explained for you. How you can control the way the stun goes, using steadfast and all that. I honestly have videos on most, if not all, of these teams that I'm showing you right now. So if you're stuck with it, just search for my YouTube or join my Discord, and I can give you the link to that team and help you build that team, basically. Then the next one is the Ultimate Myth Air, which is basically the same team, but it allows you to bring the DPS at a 3-to-1 ratio, which this one should help if you're struggling to get the damage in there. Maybe having the DPS go faster, if you have somebody like a Ninja to put out more damage, that could help you get to that 1 key Ultra Nightmare that you're looking for. And keep in mind, Jintoro has a different variation if you want to use Jintoro as your DPS, because Jintoro has a funky passive, same thing for Ninja. So keep in mind, if you're using Ninja or Jintoro, you have to check the notes because it can change. Then another one that's kind of like a basic team that most people are looking for, and it's honestly one of the easiest team to build, but it requires again a lot of champions and a little bit of a decent amount of gear or a strong DPS, and that is the Bat Eater. Bat Eater is pretty straightforward. You don't have to worry about affinity. You need double Man-Eaters, Painkeeper, Seeker, and then a DPS, and this one's pretty easy to set up. It's full auto from the start. As long as you have a strong DPS, such as, like, I don't know, Ninja, Jintoro, Draco Morph, there's plenty of options in there. This should be one of the easiest ones to build. This is the team that I had for the most time on my account. Then a variation of this one is the Deacon Eater. You know, you might not have the Seeker, but you might have the Deacon. Well, this is one that you can do, and I've recently made a video on this one using a Brachus as the DPS in there, because Brachus also brings the AoE increased attack. So the Deacon Eater is another one that's a good team that can do 1 key Ultra Nightmare. After that, we go to this kind of like the same team but using block damage champions, and that is the Batman Forever. This one is a little bit trickier when it comes to affinity, but as long as you bring yourself a cleanser or a block debuff champions in this slot, you can work with it. So if you have a quick look at this, the way this one works, again, we have block damage to cover ourselves for all of the hits. Just need to keep in mind that in this spot over here, if you're facing Spirit Affinity, you're gonna need to have the Doom Priest, or you're gonna need to have Tuhanorak, but obviously you're gonna have to turn off Tuhanorak's increased speed skill, because otherwise it's gonna fall out of tune. So if you have Doom Priest, then this team can be easy to use. You know, just you're only basically gonna need Doom Priest for Spirit, or you have to keep in mind what you're gonna have in the team, because if you have a team and you're facing, let's say you're facing Force Affinity and you do not have a Magic Affinity DPS, then the stun will go to Seeker or Roche card. Always keep in mind, like I said, always make sure you read the notes over here, because they're really important, and they can, you know, you might be like, why is my team not working? Why is the stun going to the wrong place? Well, that's where these notes come in. And again, if you have any questions, join my Discord. I'm currently doing takeovers for people. If you're interested in getting a clan boss or Hydra takeover, just join my Discord. I have a page there with the services. The link of my Discord is gonna be in the description and the pinned comment, so make sure you check that. And yeah, let me help you out. So that's the Batman Forever. The same thing for the Batman Forever, we have the variation, which is the Deacon Forever, which again, it's the same principle, just instead of having Seeker, we have the Deacon in here. Again, I made a video on this variation of the team recently where I used Gnut in the team as a DPS, and that team did wonders, and you know, it's a pretty fun team and it can do some pretty high fun damage. So Deacon Forever is another one of those teams. Now let me see what else we have. Okay, now we're moving to, like, you know, away from those unkillable teams, and we're gonna talk about some normal teams, so you know, killable teams that I have found to be full auto from the beginning. And the first one from those one is the White Whale using Lydia. This is the team that revolves around ally protection, that revolves around shields and all stuff like that. And the way that I found is this one is the only is the one that I've seen that you don't need to do any manualing and you can make it to be full auto. So this is the way that the team works. Obviously you can do some variations. You can have an ally protection to make yourself last longer. You can have a Brogni here instead of the Blind Seer. You basically will have to just play around with the champions that you have and see how far you can push your protection, basically to last as many turns as possible to do that 1 key damage. These ones usually are a little bit gear intensive, but again, this is another team that can do 1 key Ultra Nightmare. Then after that, there's the comp called A Girl and Her Turtle. This one's, you know, it's a little bit legendary heavy, but still, you might have these champions, you might want to play with it, and it basically uses Brogni, Lydia, Krisk, Valkyrie, and Iron Brago. And again, if we go over here and we see there's no delays that can make this one be complicated or make it not work on full auto, because you would just have Krisk open with the A1, put it as the A2, and then the A3, and you're good to go. Over here again, same principle. You would open with the A1 with Brogni, make sure A3 is priority, then the A2. Lydia would just either open with the A1 or A3, and everybody else is just pretty straightforward. This team should be pretty easy to do that damage, as long as you survive enough, because you have ally protection, you have damage from Brogni, just get a toxic on somebody, and you're gonna be able to do some crazy damage. And yeah, the last one that I want to mention is the one that I could not find on the website, and that is the Infinity Com. Most of you have seen the Infinity Com that uses Krisk, Brogni, Corpulent Cadaver, which is, you know, the hardest hitting damage dealer for Clan Boss, but only under certain circumstances. And that's this guy over here. And it's basically because of this one, damage is equal to 30% of the value of the shield. Basically, this team revolves around, like I said, Krisk, that starts with 2 shields, and Brogni that keeps extending the shields plus 2 buff extenders, or there's like double Yumiko. There's plenty of variations for this team. So if you have yourself a Krisk and a Brogni, just search on YouTube Raid Infinity Comp and you're gonna find lots of videos about that. Yeah, so these are the teams that I could find. If there's any other teams that you guys can think that are 1 key Ultra Nightmare, full auto, work on all affinities, all difficulties, make sure you write it in the comments below so we can help people out to find that. And now it's time for me to show you the trick that I was talking about, that you can find a team for your account in case you did not see the team in my list. And that is one, and that's by using Hell Hades' optimizer. Okay, so all you have to do is to have the optimizer open, you click upload to website, okay, it's gonna take you to this page, then you would click over here, okay, to team optimizer, you go to clan boss, select the difficulty that you're fighting, like, you know, most of us might be searching for Ultra Nightmare, but it works for Nightmare as well. And after you selected your difficulty, you click find a team, okay. After you got to find a team, what you have to do to make sure you find a team that will work with the quick battle feature is click this one over here, exclude manual teams, okay? You don't want to have teams that require manual, and then apply filter. And you're gonna see that it's gonna show at the top, most of them are the infinity comps, okay? You can sort by boss damage, fastest number of battles. Well, at the end of the day, because we're gonna have the quick battle, you're just gonna wanna search by boss damage, okay? After you do that, you go to view variation, view full details, and I'm not 100% sure this is just a paid feature or not, but you can go down here and click show all, okay? Basically, check over here, see how the tunes are working, okay? It shows you what you need to prioritize, what you open with, and all that. It might be a little bit tricky to understand, but, well, basically, you only care about round 1, okay? Round 1, because in the clan boss, there's only 1 round. So see what you open with, what's your priority, and all that. So keep that in mind if you want to check that. Let me see if I can find another team that's maybe a good example. Okay, yeah, maybe let's see this one with Elva. Let's see how this one with Elva would be if you go to full details and scroll down here. Basically this, oh yeah, this is gonna show you teams based on what champions you have, okay? So if you do not have any of the champions, it's not gonna show you that team. It only shows you the champions that you have. It might show you champions that you don't have built yet, but at least it shows you this is what you can do. So this one, for example, it seems like, I think this is a Miss Elva, with Tarvold and Michinaki, definitely did some crazy damage, and it shows you over here what you have to do. See, this one shows that the Seeker starts opens with the A1, then it shows that Demisa prioritizes the A3 first and then the second the A2, Michinaki again A3 and A2 priority, Elva shows she doesn't use the revive, prioritizes the A3, Tarvold, it shows that you open with the A3 and then priority the A2 and then second priority the A3. See, so that's the way you can read through this one. So I really hope this is helpful for you guys, because having a team that is wonky on whatever affinity or difficulty you're facing to be able to do that quick battle is going to be huge. Because you know what, even my team that I'm showing you on my main account, I'm using the Myth Fu, which I forgot to talk about the Myth Fu. You know what, let me quickly show you about the Myth Fu, because that one's a pretty awesome team, which again I have a video on, and there's variation of this one, but this team basically uses no Deacon, uses Seeker, Ares, Demisa, and fu-shan, and then there's the last slot for DPS. The reason why this team is so good is because you don't need to bring a Force Affinity DPS, because you already have fu-shan, okay? So fu-shan being Force Affinity, he will be the one taking the stun on, what's it called? He will be the one taking the stun on Spirit, but if you do not have fu-shan, there's variation. I have a video on my channel called Euro Myth, where you can use Eurogrim to bring you that speed lead, but you would need to have a Spirit Force DPS to take the stun on Spirit. Keep that in mind. This is a pretty amazing team, and it does some crazy damage. Like, let me see, did I read the key? Yep. As you can see, mine did 115 million damage. I'm using Draco, Seeker, you know, it's a pretty fun team, and definitely worth keeping in mind. But yeah, this is gonna be for the video today, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful for you, and if it was helpful, please consider dropping a like and a subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next. And I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.